Art class, huh? They surrounded the tattooed girl, then froze when they learned she was a SEAL legend. The room smelled faintly of paint and turpentine, a mixture that always made Mia feel alert and slightly nostalgic. She perched on a tall stool in the corner of the art studio, sketchbook open, pencil in hand. Her inked arms were visible beneath the rolled-up sleeves of her paint-stained shirt, the intricate tattoos snaking across her skin in ways that told stories more vivid than any canvas in the room. For her, tattoos were not just body art, they were chronicles of survival, triumph, and lessons learned in places most people wouldn't dare enter. It was her first day at the local community art class. She wasn't here to socialize or seek validation, she was here to reconnect with something she had long neglected: peace. For years, Mia had been a ghost in high-stakes operations, a SEAL legend whose reputation preceded her. Missions in the darkest corners of the world had left marks on her body and soul alike. But here, in this brightly lit room with smudges of blue, green, and crimson on canvases, she sought nothing but the quiet joy of creating. The other students noticed her immediately. Not because of the way she moved, poised and confident, but because of the ink. Her tattoos screamed stories, bold and unapologetic, some commemorating lost brothers and missions that never saw the light of day. Whispers began almost immediately. "Wow, look at those," a girl muttered, eyes widening as she glanced at Mia's forearm. "They're kind of scary," another added, leaning back in her chair. Mia ignored them, her focus entirely on the way the pencil slid across the paper. Her sketches were messy but alive, capturing the essence of what she felt without worrying about perfection. Her silence seemed to amplify the curiosity around her, drawing the attention of everyone in the room. Before long, a group of students gathered around her corner, their whispers now loud enough to carry across the studio. "Who does she think she is?" one boy asked, nudging his friend. "A biker, or, like some kind of fighter?" Mia didn't answer. She continued sketching, her expression serene. The pencils and brushes were her shields, and right now, she had no intention of lowering them. But curiosity, as it often does, pushed one of the students a step too far. "Hey," a tall guy with a smirk said, leaning over to get a closer look. "Those tattoos, they look real. Are you in the army or something?" Mia looked up, her eyes meeting his with a calm intensity that made him instinctively take a step back. "Something like that," she replied evenly. Her voice was soft but carried an unmistakable authority. The kind of authority that didn't ask for respect, it demanded it. The students exchanged uneasy glances, their earlier bravado starting to dissolve. They didn't know it yet, but Mia's life had been built on a foundation far stronger than any fear of awkward social encounters. One of the girls, unable to contain her curiosity, asked, You don't look like a regular soldier. You look artistic. How does that even work?" Mia chuckled quietly, the sound low and controlled. "People are more than what they appear to be. You'd be surprised what life throws at you, and how you survive it." She went back to sketching, shading the edges of a figure she had begun earlier, completely unbothered by the circle of attention she had unintentionally created. The boy with the smirk couldn't help himself. "So, you fight guys in real life? Like SEAL kind of stuff?" Her eyes narrowed just slightly, a shadow crossing her calm exterior. She put down her pencil and slowly turned to face him, her presence suddenly filling the room. "I was a SEAL," she said, and the words hung in the air like a warning. A beat of silence. Then another student whispered, almost reverently, "Wait, really? A SEAL?" Mia nodded. "Yes, I've seen more than most people could imagine. I've survived situations that would make you panic before you even knew what was happening." Her voice wasn't boastful, it was matter of fact, a quiet authority that drew everyone in. The room went still. The chatter that had been buzzing moments ago vanished completely. Students who had been bold enough to circle her now found themselves frozen, unsure whether to approach or retreat. The tattoos, the quiet demeanor, the calm strength in her posture, it all clicked. They were no longer just cool markings or intimidating ink. They were symbols of a life lived on the edge, tested by fire, and surviving it with unmatched skill. One of the girls finally broke the silence, her voice trembling slightly. You're legendary, aren't you?" Mia's lips curved into a small smile, one that held a trace of humor and humility. I don't think of myself that way. But yes, I've done things most people wouldn't even dream of. She gestured lightly toward her sketchbook. Right now, I'm just here to create. To make something beautiful, even if it's imperfect. The students slowly began to retreat, though many kept glancing over their shoulders at her. Awe mixed with intimidation, a strange cocktail of emotions that Mia had grown used to. Yet, for the first time in years, she felt normal. She wasn't on a mission, she wasn't in danger, and nobody here had the power to harm her. A younger boy, barely 16, gathered the courage to speak. Do you teach, or could you show us some techniques? Mia regarded him thoughtfully. She had spent years training soldiers, civilians, and anyone who had the potential to survive in extreme conditions. Teaching art was different, but the principle was the same: patience, observation, and encouraging growth. I can show you, she said. But you have to promise me one thing: you work with honesty. Don't rush. Don't worry about being perfect. Art is like life. You can't control everything, but you can shape what you can. The boy's eyes lit up. I promise. Good, Mia replied. Let's start with something simple. Shapes, lines, shades. Feel the pencil. Don't just hold it. Understand it. She rose from her stool, moving gracefully among the students, guiding hands, adjusting angles, and offering insights without ever imposing herself. Gradually, the room filled with the soft sound of pencils scratching paper, the rustle of brushes, and occasional murmurs of excitement. Mia's presence, far from intimidating now, had transformed into inspiration. She moved from student to student, never lingering too long, yet leaving traces of her expertise wherever she went. An hour passed. The students, who had first approached her with skepticism and whispers, now looked at their work with a newfound sense of pride. Mia returned to her stool, observing quietly. The tattoos on her arms glinted under the overhead lights, a reminder of a life forged in extremes, but here, they were not threatening, they were fascinating, even aspirational. A girl with bright red hair finally approached her, eyes wide. I'm sorry for staring earlier. I didn't know. I didn't realize who you were. Mia smiled softly. It's okay. Curiosity is natural. Just remember, everyone has a story. Not all of them are easy to read. The red-haired girl hesitated, then said, would you, maybe teach another class? We could all learn so much from you. Mia considered it. Teaching art wasn't a mission, wasn't a life or death operation, but it was a way to give back, to connect. Perhaps, she said finally. But only if everyone comes with respect, not just for me, but for themselves and the craft. By the end of the session, the students who had come in thinking they were just observing a cool tattooed girl, left with a deep sense of admiration. They had witnessed more than just inked skin. They had glimpsed the calm intensity of a woman who had faced death countless times and emerged with grace. As Mia packed her things to leave, one of the older students spoke up, almost reverently. Thank you for everything today. It was incredible. Mia nodded. Remember, it's not about being incredible. It's about doing what's right, even when it's hard. And never stop creating. She walked out of the studio, the afternoon sunlight casting long shadows on the pavement. For the first time in years, she felt truly free, her past respected but not defining her present. And somewhere in the bustling city, a few young artists carried a spark of inspiration, touched by someone who had lived life on the edge and returned not just alive, but generous, patient, and human. And as she disappeared down the street, she couldn't help but smile at the thought that perhaps, in this small art class, she had found a new kind of mission. One that required no combat, no stealth, no fear, only creativity, patience, and the courage to be real. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to Her World Stories for more tales of courage, inspiration, and lives that defy expectations. You won't want to miss the incredible journeys we share every week.